Welcome back to the Transform Your Mind to Transform Your Life, the podcast. This is Life Coach Marina Young, and you're listening to 5-Minute Fridays with Coach Marina. Today, I want to talk on the topic, how to have overdraft protection in your marriage. Now, have you ever driven on empty with the gas light on and praying that you can get to your destination before your car runs out of gas? How many of you have been there? Or you're at a grocery store and praying that when you give your credit card to the checkout lady, that it would not say declined and you would have to stuff back items in your cart or take them back while the people in the line are rolling their eyes at you. Yeah. So if you have overdraft protection or a spare gas tank, then you wouldn't have to worry about these embarrassing situations. That is why a compassionate bank gives you $100 overdraft protection when you open up a bank account. And that's to cover you for those slip-ups, for the times when you're not sure how much money is in your account, for the times when you actually know how much money in your account, but you need a little help until payday, right? So then you don't have to worry. That is why luxury car manufacturers build in a second tank, because a lot of unconscious people go out and buy luxury cars and can't afford to put gas in these cars. You don't have to pray anymore for your gas to get you to your destination unless it's the second tank that's running empty. So how many of you know that? The first one goes empty, you says, okay, I got a second one. And then you make the second one go empty. And then, you're actually physically praying because you have not been able to handle this assignment carefully. But today I want to talk about running on empty and overdraft protection in your marriage or significant relationships. And I bring this up because I can never forget, not say always remember and never forget, what are synonymous. In my first marriage, I had this guy that got up and make a toast. And he said, may your marriage never be overdrawn. May you always put in more than you draw out. And even now I'm getting chills thinking about it because it's so very true. Your marriage, relationships, friendships, everything is like that same bank account. If you keep withdrawing all the time and not putting anything in, then you're going to end up with overdraft. And what is your overdraft protection? You don't have one. So putting more in than you take out, make sure that your bank account in your relationships is almost full, right? And so even if you go over, you might have a little overdraft protection because you've got goodwill going for you. So in the banking system, you put in money. So what do you put into your marriage, Coach Myrna? I am glad you asked. The first thing that you want to put in, and what I want to spend some time on today, is acts of service. But there's more things that you can put in. You can put in support. My husband always tells me, I'm glad that you're in my corner, agreeing with them, making sure that they can vent and all these different things that you as a partner, a friend, put into your bank account. But today I want to focus on acts of service because it's one of the 5 love languages. And that is really how you can fill up your relationship bank account. One of the ones that I think it's so awesome, and I hear men saying it all the time, not that I have any man do it for me, but I know that if they did, it would be a great thing. My acts of service for my husband is usually making sure that my car, like my tires and things like that are doing well. If, I got a flat or something, he goes out and he gets me a new tire. He's taking care of the services of it, and most of the things that I want, he's got the Amazon and he gives, right? But nobody's ever gone and washed my car and filled it up with gas on the regular. But I hear men saying that. And I know that as a woman, you're sitting back feeling so loved and so cherished. And that man's gas tank is, his tank is being filled up by those kinds of selfish acts of service. Or you get home and he's cooked dinner, or you get home and he's run a bath for you, or he give you a foot rub. All those things that you like. It has to be the things that you like, and he's not picking it out of a book, right? He's got to know what's going to fill up his tank, right? Women, our acts of service could be simply taking care of the home so that the man doesn't have to worry about it. You cook, you clean, you look after the kids, you wash his clothes, you make sure he goes to work looking decent or whatever. If that's your act of service. There's a lot of women now that says, hey, I'm not your maid and I'm not doing these things. But so what are you doing? What are you putting into your bank account? Because guess what? If you don't fill up your bank account with some acts of service, then guess what happened? You're going to be canceled, right? So how do you know when you're running on empty? When you ask your husband to do something that he always did before, maybe like wash the car and fill it up with gas, and he says no. And he says no because he's thinking to himself, this woman's not doing anything for me. Why am I doing this for her? That's when you're in overdraft, right? So now that I brought your awareness to it, you're going to be conscious the next time you ask for something and someone says no. That's because you're in overdraft. All right. So, because unlike money in the bank, which is either there or not, some people take things for granted. And you could be also making deposits and they don't even recognize or acknowledge them. So let's say that you're making the deposits of cooking and cleaning and looking after the kids and washing the clothes and all that. And your husband has the nerve to say, you don't do anything for me, whatever, because he's not appreciating it. He's taking you for granted. So always listen for their acknowledgement that, babe, I'm so appreciative that, I come home to a hot meal. I'm so appreciated that the kids are in bed and I can have some quiet time. I'm so appreciative, or, you tell your husband, which, men needs more appreciation than women. I am so proud of you. I'm so proud of taking care of the family. I remember telling my husband too, hey, you know what? I'm so glad that you always look out for me. You always take care of me. You're always there for me. They need to hear it, right? You might think, oh, he knows, but you need to hear it. So show your acknowledgement. Show your appreciation. Listen to things like, thank you. This means so much, right? So what happens if you don't cover your overdraft at the bank? They close your account. And that's what happens when you stay in overdraft in your marriage. It ends in divorce. And I'm focusing on the word stay because we can all be overdraft at the bank. They charge us a $35 fee and you go and you cover that immediately. You pay the fee and you cover it immediately. If you don't cover it, then they'll close your account, right? And then you can't open another account anywhere else. The same as in your marriage. If you find that you're in overdraft because of your responses from your partner, because you get feedback. You get feedback either in the way they act, what they say, you get feedback. If you haven't turned off your sensors, you will recognize the feedback. So when you are in overdraft, you do something to get yourself back in a positive balance. You do something nice. Right. I was just listening to one of my favorite movies, Aaron Brockovich, and the guy is sitting there with earrings. And he says, you know what? I bought these earrings And I said, you know what? When Aaron says something nice to me, I'm going to give her these earrings. And he says, you know what, Aaron? That was 6 months ago. She was big time in overdraft because she was taking the guy for granted. You remember the story? He was looking after her kids. He was doing all these nice things for her. And she was all focused. Not that she was a bad person, but she was all focused on winning the case and all the clients that she had, 400 of them. And she was focused. So we can all do that. We can focus on the end game and then forget our loved ones. Forget to do something nice. Forget to say something nice, right? And then your bank account becomes empty. And what did the guy do? He put that earring down and he walked out. So thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of 5 Minute Fridays with Coach Myrna. I hope that I brought to your awareness to your bank account, your emotional bank account that you have. I concentrated in marriages, but it's the same with friends. You know, is your friends always there for you? And whenever they call you, you're not available. Sooner or later, you're not going to have that friend anymore because you're in overdraft, right? Be always aware of giving more than you're taking. Be always aware of making deposits more than withdrawals. All right. Thanks for tuning in. If you're listening to this on iTunes, be sure to rate, review, and subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to subscribe. And until next time, namaste.